Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Anime Mega Reviews, and today I got a new video up for you guys. But before I get right into the video, hope you guys like the new picture for my videos. I'm going to be using this more consistently. I do like the gameplay, however, sometimes you do need to switch it up. Also, I believe that this is more for like branding purposes as well. And also, this picture is obviously really nice and it's aesthetic. I love it. However, if you guys do want to see more gameplay in my videos, just comment down in the comment section below of this one, and I can make sure to try to switch it up a little bit more to cater towards all of my subscribers, whether or not you like the gameplay or this picture right here. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So the video today really involves a theory that I believe is pretty concrete, and I wouldn't necessarily always call it a theory. I believe that this is definitely fact, especially with what we've seen in the manga so far. So this theory is going to be involving Megicula and Asta's mother Lucita, and the possible reason as to why she has this genetic condition, or rather be a curse that she has received that made her essentially a hermit for most of her life. Now, I'm not too sure if it was for all of her life because we haven't really seen too much backstory on her just yet, but I believe that's coming very soon. However, my theory is that it definitely involves Megicula because this type of ability that she currently has, or rather did have, is something that is very similar to other mages that we've seen in the Black Clover universe, if not other people as well. And we first see Lucita, or rather her first appearance, is in Black Clover chapter 268, where she met Libe, and that is when it's revealed that she does have a magic ability. So that's the one main thing that we just have to look at these check marks, because her first magic ability actually has nothing to do with her curse or her other ability to drain not only life force but mana. The other ability is that this is a magic type that is not necessarily otherworldly. However, I can think of a close comparison would maybe be Sekirei in terms of her sealing magic, but Lucita is able to transfer mana into inanimate objects, but we actually see her kind of explaining her magic ability in this manga panel right here. She says, as long as it lacks mana, I can put it into and take out it into other things. Yeah, I know that was kind of like a mouthful right there. I think that is the fan translation, but basically, you guys get the point. She's able to transfer mana into inanimate objects. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this ability is exactly useful, and I believe that Yuki Tabata is most likely going to expand on that as we see more about her history, because it could be used in the science field, who knows. However, in that same panel, we actually get to see her other ability, and she says, I've got this body that steals magic and steals life force, and we actually see it when she steals the mana and the life force out of this snake that just randomly kind of like appeared out of nowhere. So we know that this is not a natural ability. She talked about these two abilities in a separate tense. So when she was talking about her other ability to take out mana and put it into other things, she talks about that separately and apart from this obvious curse that she does have. This ability is so powerful that she not only BFR'd Lucifero, however, she also had to live by herself. However, interestingly enough, before Lucita really came into the picture and we even knew who she wasn't the first person who we saw had to basically live by themselves for the most part of their lives, because they had a curse that had affected not only the people around them, but their loved ones. We see this in the case of Henry, who had to live by himself because of his ability, or rather his curse, to steal mana or take mana from other people. His family had feared for their own lives, so that is why we actually see him in the Black Bull's hideout before Yami was able to find it and then turn it into the Black Bull's hideout. But Lucita and Henry have similarities in terms of how these curses had affected their magic and their original magic abilities that were clearly separate from their curses. And we actually see this more so with Henry because, of course, he's going to get more showing than Asta's mother, where we're able to see his other magic ability on full display when he went against Sally, who had formed this huge salamander-like creature, and he was able to use his recombination magic to defend himself and his friends against this attack by the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Now, the interesting part about Henry is that most likely the thing that I've really found out about this is that he hasn't always had this curse. And of course, we know this naturally enough because of the story. But one thing that we do have to remember is that all magic knights, eventually they have to receive their grimoire at the grimoire ceremony when they're around the age of 15. And with that background information, we can really decipher that Henry hasn't always been dealing with this curse for most of his life. I believe that this is most likely a recent thing with him, and that unfortunately his family couldn't be around him, like I said before, so they had to find a way for him to be by himself, while at the same time him being able to take care of himself, because obviously no one can really do it outside of Asta, because Asta, you know, he doesn't have any mana in the first place. And so when we look at Henry's curse, we can see that it was used to a great degree with his fight against Elf reincarnated ghost, where he was able to suck out all the mana and eventually was able to help his team defeat Ghost and bring home the victory. Now, when we look at curses in general, curses, as we have found out most recently in the most recent Black Clover chapters, originate from Megicula. But with this in mind, just because Megicula is essentially the mother of all curses, assuming that Megicula is a female demon, it doesn't actually mean that she herself directly cursed, for instance, Lucita, because that isn't necessarily true. For instance, when Veto had cursed Asta, it wasn't Megicula herself that cursed Asta, but Veto using a form of demonic magic to curse our boy Asta. And when we look at the case of Charlotte, I believe that her family was specifically cursed by a witch, or she was. So that is the reason why she has that curse on her briar magic. And when we look at this panel right here, Dorothy openly admits that most likely Megicula is the parent of all curses. Now, again, some people may speculate about that, but I'm taking Dorothy's word for it because I believe that she's pretty knowledgeable on this subject. But really going back to the main topic of this video, what if I told you that Megicula has actually had more of an influence on not just Asta, but the Black Clover universe and even Lucifero or Zagrid combined? And the reason why I say this is because Megicula's reach is just so far in this world that we even saw in Black Clover chapter 223, where Gordon's family openly admits, sorry guys, that they had a pact with Megicula for literally maybe hundreds of years. And so when we really look at this, and we know for a fact that obviously Megicula is a demon that has been in the underworld for a very long time, I really wouldn't be surprised if her fingerprints, or rather her claws, were on Asta's mother, and that is the reason why Asta actually has no mana, and also the reason why Asta's mother Lucita was cursed in the first place. So maybe us as Black Clover fans really shouldn't be looking for a connection with Lucifero, but actually be looking for a connection with Megicula. And also, if you think about it even deeper, Asta and Noelle really have a serious connection with Megicula, because if we know for a fact that Lucita was cursed by Megicula, whether it been indirectly or directly, he has a very great connection with Noelle because both of their mothers were cursed by Megicula, whereby with Acer, it eventually killed her. And with Asta's mother, it didn't necessarily kill her, but it forced her to be an isolationist and a hermit. And on top of that, forced Asta to have a completely different life than he would have had before. And also, if we look at Asta's Demon Destroyer sword, I really believe that it was made for the specific reason of dealing with Megicula's curses, because why else would it need to be invented? Obviously, Megicula's curses is something that is very powerful, and we have yet to see a curse that the Demon Destroyer sword could not undo. It's literally pretty much the kryptonite to Megicula's curses. Now, I wasn't exactly too sure why Asta can't use the Demon Destroyer sword on Lord Patrika. I'm not even sure if anyone has actually talked about that right now. However, it would kind of be, anticlimactic if Asta had just whipped out his Demon Destroyer sword and just healed Lord Patrika just instantly. I don't know why that hasn't really been talked about, but I believe that Yukitsubara is leaving it out for a specific purpose, because I believe that may be sort of like a plot hole. But anyway, that does it for me today, guys. Make sure if you're new to subscribe to my channel. I hope you like this theory, or rather fact video. And also comment down in the comment section below and tell me what you loved about this video, or if you disagree with it. I'm all fine with both. And also make sure you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.